Oh my God! Oh my God! Okay. Hey. Oh my God. You look gorgeous.
Thank you. You look so
I look like a mess right now.
No.
Oh my God.
So easy.
You got the neck. Oh my God, baby. All right.
I know.
Oh.
Hi, Nurse Babe friends, and welcome to the Nurse Babe Prophetic Voice. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a return watcher, welcome back. Today, I am going to be getting into the highlights of the book of Esther. I am going to go through with a prophetic word and interpretation at the end. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video that I inserted before this video. If you like what I'm doing here, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, you guys, keep the channel growing. Keep me being able to produce new content, right? So I'm going to get right into the word, okay? So I'm in the book of Esther, chapter 1. And I'm just going to tell you that it's talking about Queen Vashti and her throwing the banquet for King Xerxes, right? And he's, drinking his spirits or whatever. It says he's high on spirits from wine, and he commands his servant to bring him Queen Vashti because she was good to look at. And it doesn't list any of her other attributes other than she was good to look at, which I guess her other attributes weren't important. Y'all don't mind me. So anyway, a lot of these men, they're going to come, into these relationships from being hurt, right? And they're going to talk about these hurts and disappointments and these shortcomings in past relationships with you. Some of them may have been married in the past. Some of them may have been in long-term relationships in the past. Some of them may have not been able to get it right at all in relationships in the past. Okay, you guys? Okay, so then I'm going to go on. And it says, Queen Vashti has done wrong, not only against the king, but also against all his nobles. I hope you guys heard the first part. But not only against the king, but against all the nobles and people of all provinces of King Xerxes. For the queen's conduct will become known to all the women, right? So, like I said, this goes back to the hurt, and I'm not going to go on with reading it. I'm just going to go on with my message. So this goes back to the hurt and the past failures of relationship. The king is going to make it known about the disappointments and the failures of the past relationships. And this is also going to give the woman a time to open up about her past failures and relationships and be able to it's going to bring forth like a healing or whatever, and you're going to be able to put those past things behind you, but then you will be able to grow by seeing what each person has been through in their life, right? It'll be a bonding experience for you guys. The next thing it says, also, let the king give her royal position to someone who is better than she. Okay? When I looked up the word better, y'all, the word better can also be described as improved, mend, reform, or reclaim, okay? And so the Lord is bringing these relationships together and reintroducing after separation improved two improved people, right? Because in the wait, you've been working on yourself, and in the wait, the kings are working on themselves. And when you guys come together, you're not going to be in the same position as you were before the wait, right? You're going to be the improved versions of yourself, right? And he's going to be introducing the king to the improved version of himself, right? Which you guys will be one. You're already one in the spirit, right? And so it says mend, right? The Lord is going to mend broken hearts of the past, right? So a lot of us have been through a lot of heartbreak before we get into these relationships. A lot of the kings have been through a lot of heartbreak. And I know that might be hard to believe when, you see them and you feel like they have access to, different women or whatever. But each experience is different. And like I said, like if it's mainly physical, there's a lot of surface level relationships out here, right? So you just be surprised at what these men or women have experienced in relationships, right? And it says reform, right? The way y'all see relationships will be reformed, okay? The blinders are going to come off, okay, you guys? It says reclaim. So God is going to reclaim the promises to the king, okay? The promises on his life, okay? I am going to go forth and finish reading this portion, okay? So verse 20, it says, then when the king's edict is proclaimed throughout all his vast realm, all the women will respect their husbands from the least to the greatest. I just want somebody to say goals. Look. All right, so then Esther arises, right? And it says, many young women were brought to the citadel, right? Esther was also taken, okay? It says, she pleased him and won his favor immediately, right? And he provided for her. Immediately, he took on the king's role to provide for her, okay? It says, with her beauty treatments and her special food, okay? So this goes to kingdom men and how they're going to rightfully take their positions in the beginning of the relationship, right? They're going to be going right into their roles, right? Right after the courtship, they're immediately in their roles, okay? It says he assigned to her 7 female attendants, right? Can we say promotion? Okay. Instant promotion, okay? And selected from the king's palace and moved her and her attendants into the best place in the harem, okay? And then it says, verse 10 says, because I'm now in chapter 2, right? Verse 10, it says, Esther had not revealed her nationality and family background because Mordecai had forbidden her to do so. And Mordecai was Esther's uncle, okay? Who raised her, right? And he had already forbidden her to give out her nationality and her family background up front, okay, you guys? Which is why it took so long, you know, but it was all part of purpose, right? When she revealed like where she come from and saving her people, right? But it says, so the message that I have with that, you guys, a lot of us have a lot of things going on in our family, and it is some things like some family secrets. What do I want to say? Family secrets. Some things are better left unsaid, right? When it comes to certain things in your family, some things should be kept private, right? And that's not to say hide anything from your person, from your God ordained spouse, but some family things should be kept private, right? What was the next thing? Okay, I was going on to read or whatever. Before a young woman's turn came to go into King Xerxes, King Xerxes, she had to complete 12 months of beauty treatments prescribed for the women, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and six with perfumes and cosmetics, right? So this is just talking about preparation. What is it that the Lord is asking you to do to prepare for kingdom marriage? To just prepare yourself to feel more comfortable, more confident. You know, what is he preparing for your purpose, right? What is it that you're supposed to be doing? And this is going to require you to actually seek God, right? And ask him, what should you be doing while you wait? We all should be in prayer and seeking God for instructions, right? So that talks about the preparation, right? And how to stay beautiful and all of that. So then verse 15, okay, it goes on to say, when the turn came for Esther, right? Because it was her appointed time, right? It says, the young woman Mordecai had adopted, the daughter of his uncle Abihail, to go to the king. She asked for nothing other than what Haggai, the king's eunuch, who was in charge of harem, suggested. And Esther won the favor, right? Her humility is what helped her actually just win favor in the sight of the king, right? And this is going to go back to say a lot of these surface level relationships with the men or whatever, they have been used in the past. They, whether it's been physically being used, but being used for their valuables, things that they have, like money and things like that, or just used and, play completely, right? And it says, and Esther won the favor of everyone who saw her. She was taken to King Xerxes. Sorry about my speech, y'all. In the royal residence in the 10th month of Tebeth, and the 7th year of his reign, right? So the appointed time, it was already established, you guys. And then it goes on to say, now the king was attracted to Esther more than any of the other women. And you want to know why the king was attracted to Esther more than any of the other women? The attraction was not just physical. He was also attracted to her humility, right? And then it goes on to say, and she won his favor and approval more than any of the other virgins, right? When God took the veil off, when God revealed her to him, she got the royal crown, right, you guys? Yes, so he set a royal crown on her head and made her queen instead of Vashti, right? So it wasn't that he chose her, she was the second best or the second choice. God will reveal things in God's timing, right? So when God took the blinders and the veils off, they both he was able to see who she was in God and how he needed her, right? Because it goes on to say, two of King Xerxes guardsmen they became angry with him and conspired to assassinate him. But Mordecai found out about the plot and told Queen Esther, who in turn reported it to King, giving credit to Mordecai, right? So his kingdom wife was so important to his destiny, right? He could have been murdered if he hadn't got with his wife, right? Got with his God ordained spouse, right? For a time such as that, right? So that's how serious these relationships are, right? Maybe it could save somebody, right? Your prayers could save somebody. You just never know what God has in store, because God is the only person that has the other part of the prophecy, or you never know what's the purpose of these relationships, right? These are the things that we have to be praying. That's why God reveals to you your kingdom spouse, right? So that you can start being in prayer. If you don't have a prayer life, to get a prayer life, right? Start reading the word, knowing the word, and being able to cover him. Start working on yourself and whatever those attributes is that you're supposed to contribute to the relationship, right? There was a high call on this marriage. There's a high call on a lot of these God ordained marriages. He don't do this just for no reason, right? And I think we oftentimes do ourselves a disservice by just thinking about, the glory and the love and, having children and starting a family and being together and being with someone, rather than thinking about, the purpose, the goal, the mission, right? And what it is that God wants to shine through these marriages, okay? And so the take back is going to be this. Like I said, the calling on these marriages, some of these marriages are big, right? Because some people are supposed to go into ministry. Some people are going to, sorry, the video had cut off. But so the purpose of these marriages are going to be to teach and spread love, right? Show the world agape love, right? To teach the gospel of Jesus Christ, right? To shine light on Jesus. That's what these relationships are about, as well as purpose, as well as love and being restored and things like that, right? And then it says, for my next point, things will divinely add up in God's time. So it's not that you weren't picked or you were overlooked, or you might feel like that, but the Lord is going to remove the veil. The Lord is going to remove the blindfold in his appointed time. Okay, you guys. In the meantime, just rest, right? Because these marriages are going to be work. They're not going to be, it's two imperfect people coming together, right? And it's going to come with a service, right? You're going to have to serve your family. You're going to have to be of service to your husband, right? You're going to be serving others in the community or whatever it is that the calling that God has on these marriages, right? They're not just for fun, right? The next thing is the main point is King Xerxes could have been murdered if he didn't have his God ordained spouse, right? So she was sent to him for the perfect appointed time, right? If he didn't have her, he could have been murdered. That's how serious these things can be, right? And then it also says God removes the blindfolds and the veil when there's time. And then what God called you to do to get prepared is what we need to be focusing on more so than the marriages, right? We don't want to make marriage an idol. So just ask God, how to prepare yourself, how to make, if there's things, physical things that you want to work on to make you more confident, those are the things that you work on in the way. If there is financial things that you want to improve, those are the things that you work on in the way. If there's, let's just say, if in the future God wants you guys to buy a house, those are the things like working on your credit, getting your credit house ready, are things you should be working on in the way, right? Whatever it is, your purpose, your calling, your ministry, whatever it is that God is calling you to do, those are the things that you need to be doing to prepare in the wait, right? The next point is going to be these men have been hurt in the past. And I know that's going to kind of be hard to see or understand, from our perspective, especially if this is not a person that you know. This is just a person God has revealed to you. And a lot of us have been hurt too. So like I said in the beginning, that's going to be a good bonding experience to go put these experiences behind us and go forth with healing and talk about some of the things that we've been through in relationships, right? And then the last thing is just going to be like, be yourself. That's the last point that I have to make is in these relationships, we are going forth and being ourselves, right? Esther didn't do the most. She won favor with her humility, right? So just be yourself. You don't have to do the most, right? God is going to reveal it when it is time. So I hope this message helped someone and gave you some sort of clarity and encouragement. Continue to stay in prayer and at the Lord's feet. Ask him to reveal to you anything it is that you need to be doing or anything you would like to know. And repent if you are idolizing these marriages, right? We have to go forth and ask God to help us. I know it's hard because, when God puts something on your mind, that it's going to be perfect, right? And it's hard not to think about. But it's going to be very important that we don't open the door to the enemy by constantly thinking about it, ruminating on it, constantly seeking a word about it too much. So, right, you guys? So please stay in prayer with the Lord, okay? Please seek him for instructions and guidance, okay, you guys? But I hope this message gave you peace in your soul, if nothing else, right? And until next time, y'all, that's all I have for this time. I'm up late, so I'm going to be going to bed. Y'all, I'm tired. But I figured I would just get this word out because I was looking through the book of Esther, and I wanted to pull out some of those points. So I hope you took something from it, y'all. Peace.